Hey there Titanfall legends, my name is Jaredude, here to discuss the Titan Ronin in Titanfall 2. Just right before getting into it, I want to say thank you for the feedback from the guide on Scorch. Hopefully you'll think I covered more this time around. But now, let's talk about Ronin, the most agile of the Titans, equipped with tools to enable a playstyle of fast attacks and fast exits. Though with Ronin often going for the kill yourself when faced against enemy Titans may not be the best choice. Instead, acting as a distractor and letting your teammates focus on offense can be the better choice. I will speak more on this in a moment, but first, let's break down all elements to Ronin's loadout. His primary weapon is the LEADWALL'S shotgun, a 4-shot weapon that absolutely decimates pilots and minions with a single shot or 2, depending on how close you are. Speaking of distance, you must keep in mind that unlike every other Titan weapon, this has a limited range as it is a shotgun. Against Titans, it can be useful as you dash towards your opponent and quickly shoot off the 4 shots. Then to follow up that, whipping out your sword with the melee button can be an incredible combination. While up close and personal, I recommend to activate your electric smoke to become an even harder target to track. Using the counter-ready Titan kit, which gives you a second electric smoke, can be a truly destructive and disorienting time for your enemy. Now besides just dashing, phase dash is the ability that makes you temporarily invisible, allowing you to move rapidly and also go through enemy Titans. You must know, however, unlike the pilot tactical ability phase shift, where you can actually kill an enemy pilot if you are inside of them once re-entering reality, you cannot do this with phase dash. Once it wears off and you find yourself inside an enemy Titan, you will instantly kill yourself. But phase dash is a great way to make a hasty escape or to do a quick assault. Personally, I think it is better to use it as an escape though, as the sword block is actually very useful. As Ronin has minimal health, of course always moving and using corners to your advantage to avoid enemy fire is something you should focus on. Though, the sword block can block the majority of enemy fire if you position yourself head-on with the enemy. It can even block the majority of damage from enemy cores I've found. It is seriously strong. Online I've seen it discussed that you should essentially always have it up when not trying to move quickly. I don't entirely agree with this philosophy. When having the sword block up, any straight-on fire is reflected. But when having it up, you move slower. This can leave you more open to flanking enemies. As I did mention earlier, when having teammates to support you, whether they are pilots or Titans, you may consider approaching enemy targets with your sword block up. You will be the main focus if you are the closest threat to your enemy. Thus, they will most likely focus on you primarily. While this is happening, your teammates can take advantage of the situation to be offensive instead of yourself. This of course plays out better with pilots as they are more discreet, but this kind of play is possible with Titans as well. Arc Wave is another ability. This releases a line of electricity on the ground. When an enemy comes in contact with this, they will temporarily be slowed down, similar to the arc grenade's effect. And also some damage is delivered. The damage is not a whole lot though, it doesn't have enough to actually kill a doomed Titan, and it also often struggles against pilots as well. For myself, I've gone back and forth on how much importance should be given to the Arc Wave, and I just think that if you are playing more defensively with the tactic that involves being a distractor with the sword block, you probably should not use this too often as you are left exposed while using it. But if you go for the surprise attack, unleashing it on your enemy as your first move is smart as it does slow them down. The Ronin kit Thunderstorm allows you to have 2 charges with the Arc Wave. As I do play more offensively with Ronin, this has come to be a favorite of mine. Then of course we cannot forget about the core, the sword core. This has you automatically equip your sword, and on top of this the sword sees a damage increase during the core duration. Also your sword block is empowered as well. Do not forget about that. With the power that the sword possesses during the core being active, if played properly, you can absolutely destroy a full health Titan. I think this may just be my favorite core overall. Side note that I'm not really sure where to place in this video, but Ronin in my opinion is the ultimate tone destroyer, with the ability to block her shots and get behind her and the particle wall. On top of the sword block being very protective against salvo core, Ronin just works very well against tone. Going over the other Ronin kits, Ricochet rounds, which makes it so the LEADWALL'S rounds bounce off surfaces, is useful in any game mode besides Last Titan Standing, as the shots can kill enemy pilots or minions. I think this is a quality choice. Temporal Anomaly enables the phase dash to recharge faster than it does by default. This is another big recommendation from me, as the main focus of Ronin is movement. Being able to get to your enemy or escape your enemy faster is wonderful. Some of you may think that pairing Temporal Anomaly with the Titan kit, Turbo Engine, giving you an additional dash to make for a total of 3 would be a killer tactic. But no, I advise you against using Turbo Engine with Ronin specifically. As you see here, each individual dash actually takes longer to cool down than without it. Using Turbo Engine only gives you a bit more speed in a very brief period of time. It's sort of like running in real life. Instead of going for an immediate sprint, it is ultimately worse than keeping a steady pace, as it takes longer to recover. While speaking on Titan kits, I might as well talk about the other 3 that haven't been mentioned yet. I am strongly against using the Assault Ship, as I really think you should pilot Ronin due to how little health he has, and with Stealth Auto Eject, I don't think it's ever a good idea. But Nuclear Ejection can be a ridiculously powerful play, as if you are able to surprise a group of enemies by quickly dashing to them, followed by ejection and the nuke going off, it can cause a great deal of damage. This does not always work, of course, as often enemies are able to escape before the nuke goes off, but if you're hunting for those MLG clips, well, have at it. Then wrapping up with the last 2 Ronin kits, Highlander extends the duration of the sword core. In theory this sounds helpful, but I found it to not be as beneficial as some of the other Ronin kits. Lastly, Phase Reflex activates an emergency automatic escape phase dash right when you are being doomed. Like Highlander, I think the first 3 Ronin kits I discussed are better. Thank you all so much for watching my Ronin guide. I hope you learned something today. Today's question of the day: do you like Ronin? Feel free to let us know in the comments below, or answer silently in your head. As always, my name is Jaredude, and until next time, stand by for Titanfall.